Very good evening, and I really appreciate your interest, towards learning the data science course via GUI, and I'm here to, let you know how it boosts my career and professional development. So I'm here to let you know. So to let you know, previously I was working with another company, which was completely a non-technical background. So it has been, 1.5 years that, I was trying to learn from my own interest. I started exploring via internet. But what happened is I was on a rotational shift then, so I wasn't able to cope up with my timings, and it was quite difficult for me. So while I was exploring, I got to know about GUI. So I got in contact with the team, and the way they was able to take care, and they have implemented the curriculum, the 5-month course. And in the very first go, there was 2-week session. So I attended that, the demo session, and then I have decided to go on with the course. So it was very helpful that the interest they built while I joined this course. It was very impressive, and so I just put my papers for my previous company without any delay, and in a second thought I just joined the course. And after joining it, before I didn't had any coding knowledge or any technical interest. But while exploring, I got to know that Python is one of the easiest language to learn. So I wasn't knowing about the data science completely, but I was thinking on top of the Python, there should be something else, to get our professional career built up in a good, the span, like in the market and all. So then after joining the course, every week live sessions has really been very helpful, like the doubt session and the code data practicing session, and the recorded sessions, the uploaded videos in the GUI is like very good. So I went through each and everything. I made sure that I shouldn't miss any of the things, which is explained by the mentor or the team, the internal mentors or the coordinators. So, and then so the AIE was my first placement and the first interview I went through. And once I got into that, that is the one, like this career is the one I wished for and I was waiting for. So without any second thought, I have joined AIE. So now it's been almost 3 months. So company is very good, and all the companies which GUI has brought, I would really like to appreciate the HR team, with a very good package, and the company standards, they're almost at the top or mid-rise level companies. So now and all, because of the GUI placement team, I'm into a good company. And even my AI is the good one, which I joined.
Yeah, that's really well, Ma. That's really well. And based on the registration, we got somewhere like, nearly 1,000 questions. But out of those 1,000 questions, we have filtered, few common general questions, which has been, frequently asked by the students. So let's begin with that questionnaire. I'll just share my screen.
Sure.
I hope my screen is visible. Sonia, you are on mute. Yeah, it's visible, right?
Yes.
Great.
So I got a question like, what was my previous role? It was analyst, my previous role.
Yeah. So yeah, here I want to talk about Sonia. So when we had a first conversation, she was one student who was so confident, and she's like a very self-motive girl. So Sonia, I hope these questions will really help the students. Let's begin. So the first question was introduction about Sonia, as you have already given, and if you want to add few more things, you can add it.
No, I have already let you know, like it. My educational background is also quite different. That I am from an electronics and communication engineering student, passed out in the year 2019. So there were probably one or two subjects which falls under technical or software. So then there was not a lot of interest, but it was one of the subjects, so we had to learn that. So that was only the main motto. So while exploring, I just got interest and that thing, and as with the help of Gubi, I got into this right now.
Cool, cool. Yeah. So can we go with the next question?
Yes.
Yes.
So to let you know, like when I started exploring about data science and how, like, to let you know, all of you, that I was actually quite interested about programming, that I was just exploring. I in the beginning, I just wanted to step into the technical thing or the software. I was into such a in such a field that it was completely non-technical. So there was not more of there was no chance to build your career in that profession which I previously worked. So I was exploring something which will build my career, so that I can learn continuous learning process. I always liked the continuous learning process, so I was searching for such a thing. And then I started knowing about Python, and then as I said previously, on top of it, I got to know that data science is there is a field called data science which we can explore, and irrespective of the previous profession, we have a chance to skip into that. So then I started knowing about it, I explored, and then I have took this course.
Nice, nice, Ma. So let's move to the next question. Why do you want to change your current field to data science?
Yes. So, you can relate from the previous answer I gave.
Yes.
Previously, as I said, it was completely non-technical, and there was no learning process. It's only one process. By looking at my seniors who were 5 to 6 years seniors to me and working equal to me, me being a fresher, they are working in the same field. So there it was good. The environment and the company, the people over there, everything was good, but there was some dissatisfaction in my heart. Something was there. So then I thought I tried if I could change, and luckily, I got changed.
Cool, cool. That's really nice. So yeah, do you know
Uh,
coding before?
As I said, I didn't know coding before. There was zero knowledge, to let you know. There was only, one or two subjects in my curriculum in the engineering. So I had to learn those, obviously, because it is in the curriculum. So we didn't had that much of pressure to learn those subjects as, as if to write a code on our own. So it's just a subject. So only after joining Guvi and with the mentor support, I have started practicing in the code kata, and the internal mentors, who has been put to clear the doubts. They were very helpful. When a question is posted in a less time, within 24 hours, we used to get very much fast replies to the questions we have posted. So that was very helpful. That if we get stuck in between, so the mentors used to immediately get help to us. So I didn't had any prior knowledge before joining this course.
Yeah, that's nice. So the next question is, why did you choose Guvi?
Why is because I had a few colleagues or friends in my circle who has started taking up a different course in a different platform, but they were not completely satisfied. There was some disappointment because there was some delay in the placements, or the mentors are not really giving that comfort zone to ask questions or raise their doubts. So the curriculum, I took a few inputs from all my circle, all the people from my circle. And then because we had a chance to attend 2-week demo session, so then I have attended that. And it was very helpful that in the first meet itself, we were like a very interactive session, and we were encouraged to get motivated, and explaining the things from the scratch was helpful. So then I have chosen Gooby as the best platform.
Yeah, thank you, Ma. So the next question: how does Gooby differ from other competitors? So we have many edtechs, right?
Yes, exactly. So to let all the internal coordinators and the internal mentors, who are all there to obviously help in, irrespective of time, when you reach out to raise your doubts or questions in any aspect, or in any time. Even when I took the course, that there was huge pandemic going on, second wave was going on. Even then I got really good help. Like I didn't expect that level of help. So I can say that Gooby differs from other competitors in respect of the quality training and the mentors they bring. Like the mentors are really very knowledgeable, like knowledge sharing. You can see few mentors writing a code in front of you when you ask a doubt. So that is very difficult. You have maybe I don't say who and what other competitors does. Maybe they have all the recorded sessions and providing you those recorded sessions. So that isn't really helpful when you have a person live and you can ask your doubts, and that is very interactive, I feel. So I feel that's more important when you join a course. And joining an online course, that is one of the most important thing.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Ma. And the next one is, how was the Gooby's Zen class teaching style? And can you talk about the data science mentors, especially your mentors?
Yes. So in the beginning, we have Abhishek as our mentor, and he was he was the one who took the demo session for us. And the way he's began to explain the things from the scratch, like he took more than an hour to explain how the things really work in the data science field, like how the other professions and this stream is different, and how well we need to concentrate and practice more. So that and all has helped us. And and after moving on, we our mentor was changed, and the Kaushik sir was the mentor, and he has helped us in the project. I really don't say it's 100%. Like your mentor helps you with only maybe of 10%. It completely depends on how well you practice, depending on the mentor's teaching, and the practice sessions you more take, and the Codekata practice questions. So mostly it depends upon the teaching and the practice you do. So that's what I feel.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Let's move to the next question.
So I just got a question. So I got a question like what to study for a data science. So I would say even though you're of a different background, and even though you didn't have any coding knowledge, Python is a very easy language that everyone would ask you to go on. So you may start with Python, and because basic coding knowledge is needed when before you jump into the data science directly. So that way you may continue learning data science.
Okay, Ma. We can move to the next question.
Okay, done.
Just a minute. I'm just unable to recall. I'll just present the screen once again.
Sure.
So this was the last question. Now, how Zen class placement team helped you? Sonia?
Sorry, guys, I think I was on mute.
Yeah, that's okay.
To let you know, like the placement team has really helped, like bringing in the companies. You know, every week we used to have minimum of 3 companies. Um, uh, getting in touch with Gooby and sharing our resume to all the companies. Like it was even before we have started our project. So that was very helpful. That while because it was before the project has started, we got to know what company is actually expecting. So when we keep applying, maybe because I'm from the electronics background and irrelevant experience. So because of that, maybe it was bit taking time. I wouldn't say it took time, because in within 5 months I got placed. I wouldn't say it was time taking, but the companies Gooby is bringing in are really good. I would say the HR team has really been very helpful, that I really didn't expect that help.
Yeah, thank you. So how many interviews you have attended? In which interview did you get placed?
Okay, so to let you know, that was a very first interview. AI was very first interview I have attended, and in the very first interview itself, I got placed, and I chose that to join, because that's the one I was, really wanted to join. And previously, because the technical interview sessions, the mock interview sessions have been very helpful to boost and to know our mistakes, or the corrections which needs to be done in the technical perspective, or the oral, or writing a code. And from the scratch, every questions the mock team has tried to has been really helpful. So I would say the technical mock interviews were helpful. That itself took me, to the first interview itself to get placed.
Very
So
nice.
it depends. It completely was helpful from Gooby team more.
And it's like not only Gooby team, it's like, your efforts actually, to be frank.
Yes.
Yeah. So the next question, how to start learning data science?
Okay, so to let you know, as previously I have already answered, like you cannot directly jump into the data science. So you need to have a prior, coding knowledge, or the programming knowledge. So for that, the Python is the easiest language and most preferred language in the market right now, or the industrial, as per the industrial standards. So first you can begin with the Python, and no, learning itself and practicing more itself is what brings you to the field you are willing for. So Python, and then you can move on to the data science slowly. So first, before jumping into the data science directly, you need to have prior knowledge of programming. So that's all I would say.
Yeah. Nice, Ma. So we'll move to the next question.
Yes.
Just a minute. I hope my screen again got stuck. I'm so sorry for the inconvenience. Which programming is good or to start learning data science?
I would say Python, even though many companies refer to R as well. I would say Python is really easy and easily understandable language. The Python itself is, so I preferred Python. So I say, once you start learning, once you have that skill in you, you may start exploring and try to learn other languages and write the code in the language you wish. So first is you need to get that skill in you so that you may write the code in whatever language you're willing to. So that itself will let you know what language is more easier, or what language you are interested in to have that programming skill. So that's
Okay.
all what I would say.
Yeah. Thank you. So the next question, does a data scientist need any code experience or knowledge about coding?
I would say yes to this, because without knowing the basic coding knowledge, you wouldn't understand models like a linear regression and all. So we definitely need to have that coding experience to understand how the pre-built models are in data science field. So I would say yes for this.
Yes. So the next question is, what is your educational background and what topic of data science do you focus more on practice?
Okay, so as I said, my educational background is completely electronics, and then there is an almost 1.5 year gap after my education. So it is more of as you said, the more focus points I have practiced is all the pre-built models and the basic coding in the code kata. I would say the Python coding is more I would say it's really important, because to understand the code or to write a code, you need that basic experience. So when you start writing a bit of code, only then you can join that, or you can add on to that, doing add making it more attractive, or make the visualizations in the data science, so that basic knowledge and the basic coding knowledge in Python you need to have. And coming to the data science, I learned more of all the supervised, unsupervised techniques, and that was because that was all pre-built models, so I need to go through those. So I practiced all the topics, and that was helpful to land my job into the data science field.
Yes, very nice. So, and guys, I want to like tell you one thing, like, what, since, we are getting, many people are raising their hands, maybe you people have many doubts. So we can have your doubts at the end. So once this questionnaire is done. So the next question is, I am a fresher with a Bachelor of Business Administration degree. Where should I start?
So I would like to let you know that whatever the field itself is, you have all the data coming in. So if you take last, maybe 10 years, you have a lot of data coming in, and people are working towards data field a lot, and you can expect a lot of openings, or in industrial standards towards a data field. So whatever maybe the profession you are in, hope every profession has that data which need to be taken care of. So accordingly, you may choose, in which aspect you are willing to join, or you are interested in. So I feel every field needs a data analyst, and however that comes under data science and all these are branches. So even the finance field needs data, and everything is interlinked. So you may choose one according to your interest, and from your, if you're willing to do that from your previous education itself, and that itself will have interconnectivity, so that you may choose accordingly.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. And the next question is, how to switch career into data science? The mostly, most of the students have asked this question.
Yes. So I feel how to switch career is, the first thing you need to have that interest, in you, and you need to spend a lot of time to, practice more. And once you have that interest built in yourself towards learning a new thing, that itself will, automatically help you to switch your career. So I would say the interest you had to join the course or to start learning a thing in the beginning should continue until you get succeeded in that career which you wish to switch. So that's all I would say.
Yeah, nice. So the next question is, fresher can learn data science?
Yes, this is yes, I would say, because any person, even the experienced and freshers, everyone are most willingly, take the course, or not. I wouldn't say only it's just of data science. Whenever you try to learn something, being a fresher, definitely you'll have a lot of time to put in your 100% efforts, so you can learn data science even being a fresher.
Very nice. Impressive answer. So the next question is, how to become a data scientist in India?
Okay, I would say it isn't, the data scientists are not only in India. I know that, it's all over the world. It only, you know, it depends completely on you, how interested you are to pursue your, path, or the career you have wished for. Whenever, you start learning, you need to have that practice and 100% efforts, irrespective of the field you are in. So that will definitely make you a data scientist.
Nice, nice. So the next question, what is a demand for data science in India? How effective is data science in market?
Okay, so I would say the demand for data science is a lot more than your expectations, because as I said previously, if you go through the last 10 years, every data you have, the phones or the email, whatever you are using, the professional or the personal things, everything it is into data. So it is a data, and you definitely need just imagine, in the previous 10 years, if it has increased to this level, what would be next 10, 20, 30 years would be like. So it's out of your expectations, I would say. The data science market or industrial standards would touch that peak, definitely.
Yeah, sounds great. So the next question is, can a person do data science if he has average math stat skills? What questions will be asked in the interview? So here we have two questions.
Yes. So I would say average math stat skills, even though it is average, or if you have zero knowledge, the interest itself, or the knowledge you gain itself, will unknowingly, you'll start learning things when you have that interest towards a thing to learn. When you had a mindset to learn things, and that continuous learning process, if you have that, it isn't difficult to learn math and stats. And the second question, the questions asked in the interview, it depends on the company standards. What because a few companies are trying to directly hire data scientists. Few companies are willing to hire a data analyst. So it completely depends on the company standards. And irrespective of the company standards, industries or the companies are wishing for a candidate who can learn skills easy and understand, and who has touch with everything they know. So when you say something that you have to be that confident that you should be able to answer the question they ask. So that confidence, if they see in you, so definitely you'll be into a good company.
Yeah, thank you. So the next question is, GUI data science program review and placement support.
As I said previously, review itself is like, I actually didn't expect this support, that the placement support, especially like all other platforms. I thought it's just the one, but because of the demo sessions, I was very impressive, and got that confidence that I would get placed. And the internal coordinators who has helped me with all the technical and non-technical doubts, within with the session or the program, I would say. That was very helpful, that when you reach out to people, when you get a reply within minutes, so that level of help itself will let you know that they are going to take you to a good placement support.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ma. And the next question is, just a minute. What skills are required to become a data scientist?
I would say the interest and the willingness to learn itself a big skill required to learn data science. And then, like I said, starting with the prior basic coding knowledge, that's the important skill, I would say. And then that will definitely make you understand. So once if you jump, itself to the data science, you won't be able to understand things better, because you'd be in a different career, or working professionals, or a fresher from a non-technical, or someone like mechanical civil coming into data science and willing to learn. So you need to have that basic coding thing. So once you get it, you would be definitely able to understand data science very easily. So that's it, I would say.
Yeah, thank you. And the next question, is 3 months enough to become a data scientist?
3 months, I would say, of course, like the most important thing is the efforts you put in to learn. So if it is 3 months course, you'll however have the regular sessions, and then you have more, you are more in touch with the mentor who is regularly teaching you, or teaching the skill you require. So when you have that continuous learning process, it is more easier for you, and you have that regular contact with your mentor. So whenever you have questions or doubts, you can directly jump into the mentor. So today, if you have some question, tomorrow you can directly talk to your mentor, ask the doubt, clear the doubt, and then continue the regular session going on. So it's more or less the thing you practice and the efforts you put in.
Yeah, well said, well said. Thank you. What's the difference between data analysis and data science?
Okay, so I would say data analysis is a branch of data science. So it's all interlinked, and it's all interconnected, I would say. Data analysis is something like you collect, and you just process it. But data science comes in from the scratch. So it's not data science is not just part, but data analysis is just a part that you do. But however, once you get into the field, you'll have to do everything, irrespective of the label you have to be able to do everything, which is assigned to you. So I would say it is good that you have that, and you learn all the required skills, the basic knowledge for the required skills as per the standards, or the expectations that the present companies are having with.
Yes, thank you. And the next question, how you practice the various concepts in data science?
Like I said, however, there are regular assignments we need to practice out. And now I used to explore and read out the articles, or the blogs from the internet. So, when you start learning or reading different articles or blogs, you will have to, you'll have that knowledge, like what, like person to person, you have that difference. So when you go through exploring things more and more, you'll get to know like what one person is into another person. So that way, when you just go through each article and then explore things and try to write on your own code, and then take inputs from different things and then put it together and build your own thing. So that itself should be like, this is what I have done, like this is what I have practiced through. I used to take a few articles, read them, learn, take from it, and make my own code, or I just put all together and try to run it. I used to make changes from the code which was already written in the articles. And then when you start exploring things and you practice more, try to edit and do everything you wanted to try, and that will definitely help, and that way you can practice more. So that is what I would say.
Yeah, thank you, thank you, thank you. And the next one, the technical the technical side of sports. How to become a sports data analyst? It's a bit tricky question.
Yes, I would say it is definitely a tricky question. As I said, it's irrespective of the profession you are in, if you are willing to have the data analyst or data science field, in the current profession you are in, it completely depends on, it depends on if at all you are working in some mechanical field, you need to have that a career spot, or the vacancy, if companies are really expecting you to be a data analyst or data science field. So we need to check that first, and I would like to pass on to Ramesh to explain it more or better than me about.
Yeah, guys. Thank you, Sonia. See, guys, like this is not something which has been, much deviating from our like analytics. Okay, so this is more of like analyzing the data and like more of storytelling. Okay, this will be happen in the whole, like what to say, in the whole cricketing industry actually. Okay, so every team will have an analyst. Okay, for sure you would have seen, like if you have been following cricket, for sure you would have seen like my analyst has been saying so and so, like many cricketers would have been mentioning their analyst names, isn't it? Like they need, every team needs an analyst who can exhibit some, like what to say, so who can derive some insights from the data which they have. Okay, so for all those things, like however we have been proceeding with our usual data science stuff actually, so that has been pretty much enough for us to jump into this as well. Why? Because this is more of the same thing which you are doing over here. If a batsman has been feeling difficult to play in spin actually, so the analyst will look out the pattern actually how he's been playing for the, so throughout the match actually, if he has played for so and so balls, like he can derive some insights out of it. Okay, he can say like, okay, in the spin, like his strike rate is so and so. In the seam bowling, actually, the batsman has been able to play with the strike rate of 150, like that. Okay, so he can get with some, he can give some insights out of the data which has been happening over there actually. It's all data, isn't it? So like, just like we have been getting some data from different fields actually over here as well. If a match has been happening, if you, if the players have been performing actually, so based on their performance we can derive something. Okay, so we can say some story, right? So like this player has been having more consistency. Let us take, there is a player who scores a century in a series actually. Okay, in a single century he'll hit a century for the whole series itself, like for around 7 matches. Okay, and there is one more batsman like who scores like around 30 to 40 runs for each match. So who is more consistent over here? Like the batsman who has been playing more than, like just 30 to 40 runs each every match, is more consistent, right? So this is simple data which we can say straight away, isn't it? So likewise, like a data analyst will put a lot of important information before the team management. Okay, so that the team can decide like who has been fit for this particular match, whether it's been the match, whether that particular match has been more lenient towards the spin or seam bowling. Okay, whatever it might be. Okay, so if you want to speak about it, there will be a lot and lot if you're digging up it. Okay, so the same stuff which you have been doing. Okay, so the analytics libraries or whatever the tools which have been using over here in the data science domain, we can use the same stuff like to do the same like what I say, predictions as well as kind of storytelling. Okay, So this is very, very crucial when it comes to sports. Actually, every team will maintain analysts. Okay. So I hope you got my point, right? Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ramesh. That was really helpful answer. So can we move to the next question, Sonia?
Yes.
Yeah. I want to know the complete journey of how you become a data scientist. So it's, it's like entire journey you have to explain now.
Okay, so as I said, I'll start with my professional career itself. So once I got out of my college, I placed into a good company. It is a good company, has a good standard, but I didn't know that it was completely of non-technical thing. I thought I would just explore the things. So I am like a person, I would never wanted to leave an opportunity, which comes to me. So I joined the analyst role I got. And while working, I have worked for 1 year and 1.5 year. I didn't have that satisfaction, even though I have that comfort zone with the environment and the people over there. There was a small dissatisfaction that took me to this, that I wanted a job or a professional career which always helps me to learn things, the learning process. So I didn't have that thing over there. So then I thought I have to start something, or switch my career to the technical background. And so then while I was exploring, like I said, I got to know about Gooby. And it isn't like I just took this course, I choose this platform randomly or something like that. I explored, like I spoke to many people. If it isn't it shouldn't affect entire career, right? So I did a lot of groundwork to choose this platform and all. So finally, when I chose this, I attended the demo session. And then because, as I said, I had the rotational shift in my previous career. And then I didn't really had that good time to practice and all. So once I completely came out, once my notice period was done, I started practicing more the questions and all. So I was parallelly going through the recorded sessions. Because of my bad timings, I had to go through every day. I had to again go through the recorded sessions and all. So that way I used to practice and parallelly learn things. I had a lot of time then. So parallelly I was able to manage learning from the beginning and the current session. So that managing thing has helped me. And the technical mock interview and the HR or the managerial mock interviews which took place was helpful. That and I got to know where I was in lag, that I have to learn few things which I missed. And the mentor, who Kaushik sir, who gave that comfort zone to let like to take those questions you had. So when that is there, you can definitely choose this career and become a data scientist.
Cool. Thank you. And the next question. How Gooby helped you land an interview in data science when you are not from a non-data science background?
Okay, so as I said, it's when you have that skill and when you have an opportunity, when you have that skill, a single opportunity itself is enough for you to prove yourself that you're a pro in data science, or the coding skill you have. So it's on the thing is that you need to carry that skill, hold it on. Once you get your opportunity, you have to showcase yourself and put all your skill in front of the interviewer you have. And that itself will take you to the switch your career or into the data science field, I would say. So that itself has helped me.
Nice. So the next question. Hi, Sonia. I'm planning to switch my career to data science. And is it possible to provide a 57% of hike by the company?
Okay, so I would say, I think, the hike, the percentage, I couldn't assure you that, but you'll have a definitely good package as per the current industrial standards. Once you switch your career, my 1.5 year of experience was zero now, so I have again started from the scratch. So when you are willing to, just drop out your previous professional career, you will have to take that step, that you have to accept the truth that you are starting from zero again. If you are, even though I was starting from zero, the course I chose, or the profession I chose was good enough that it definitely took me to the 50%, 57% of hike to the company I have joined now. So if you are willing to drop your previous career and start from zero again, I would definitely say you will definitely get a good package in terms of the current standards or the industrial market you have right now.
Yeah, nice. So the next question is, did Guvi arrange any placements, or did you get placed in off campus?
No, it wasn't off campus. If it was an off campus, why would I be here to let about my experience and all? So it was definitely the placement team efforts, which landed me into this career and the profession I was expecting to be. I was dreaming to be all these days. So it is completely the efforts they brought in to get good companies, and also my efforts too. So which landed me into this career. So it's definitely Gubi who has arranged or brought such good companies.
Yeah, thank you very much. And the next question is, can female candidate start as a fresher in data science after a career break? Seems interesting question now.
Exactly. So I would say yes to this, because when you have that career break, and when you're not going back to the previous profession you were in, and you are willing to learn something new, that itself shows I can say that itself is what brings you to the 50% of your career, or the willingness or the skill to learn the thing and all. So you can definitely start your career as a fresher even though you have a break. The only thing is, when you have an opportunity in front of you, you need to have that skill to put in front of the interviewer, and reach that company standards according to the expectations of the company.
Nice,
So
nice.
yes.
Yeah. So the next question is, can faculty with 10 plus years of experience switch to IT industry? If yes, what would be the path?
I would like to pass on this question to Ramesh to explain this more better than me.
Sure. Okay. Thanks, Sonia. See, guys, like these days, like experience and like what to say, whether you may be from different backgrounds with a different set of experience, that doesn't matter as well. Okay. And some of you might having a different field, like I don't have so and so percentage in so and so degree, so and so things. Okay. So you'll have something which companies used to follow years back or decades back. Okay. So the times have been changed now. Okay, so if you have a relevant skill set, okay, so they are not considering your educational background, whether you have been having a BTech degree or a PhD degree. Okay, so they don't care what you have been from actually. So if you have been skilled enough, like if you are fit into their organization, then they have been ready to take you even if you don't have a degree yourselves. Okay, so that pretty much like a stride forward these days. Okay, so you can go and explore as well if you want to believe it, whether it has been true or not. And when it comes to this, actually, if you have been a faculty with so much experience, actually, it has been very much easy for you to switch on, okay, to IT. It's been easy, but like the thing is, you're supposed to have some hands-on experience, okay. So like maybe like you might be been involved in research or else relevant to the training things, okay. So more into since you have been more into faculty, I mean, this faculty-related jobs actually. But like if you have been into, if you want to be a part of IT, especially in data science or other domains like FSD, okay, full stack development or something, So like development has been very much needed. Okay, so the best suggestion which I can give you is like start doing projects. Already you have the skill set. Okay, so just start doing projects and try to showcase your skills, and then like it will be very much helpful for you to get into the IT in a smooth and proper way. Okay, so only like what to say, your projects will help you. Okay, so keep working on some projects and showcase your skills, whether it may be any domain. If you have been into this data science, for sure, I can suggest you to start with Python. Okay, already if you have been equipped with Python, then it's been very much easy for you to move forward. Okay, further moving forward, like you will get the experience of like how to deal with the data. So more moving towards data analytics and like data visualization. There will be tools as well as there will be coding as well. Like if you want to go with tools, so there will be tools available without any coding. So but like if you want to be in the development actually, then it is better for you to keep more and more practicing in Python. Okay, so you have another alternative R, but like it is more advisable to go with Python because you can go into advanced AI concepts like machine learning, deep learning. Okay, so you can go with computer vision, natural language processing. So there have been many more to come. Okay, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ramesh. Yeah. Can we go with the next question, Sonia?
Yes.
Yeah. Day-to-day life of a data scientist in the office.
Okay, so it depends on the company. It is definitely like, you'll be given a module. So you'll have to definitely work according to the, company standards they're expecting. However, like you'll be trained according to the standards, they are willing for. So even I have been put into the training because, a little standard is required for every company you join. So you will have to work according to the requirement of the company or the project you have, or according to that, will be given a few modules, and either with the team or individually you'll be given such modules, and then you have to explore and work on it. And however, we'll definitely have, as a fresh when we join as a fresher, we'll definitely have a helping hand. So we definitely need not worry about it. You can explore more. Like it definitely takes time to do something on your own. So you need not expect something like you'll be given a module first day itself and do it on your own. So that is what I would like to say.
Okay, cool. Yeah, thank you. And the next question is, what things one should keep in mind before appearing for a data science related job interview or interview tips?
I would say we need to have both, basic Python coding skills, and also you need to learn all the supervised and unsupervised models, and you have to have that flow chart in your mind, so that whenever we never know what interviewer would ask us. So we need to have that basic skill, and we need to understand the things better. So they can something like they can ask you to share your screen and write a code in front of them. As every interview is a virtual interview, I would say this can happen, and this is what has happened with me. So they have asked me to share my screen and write a code. They have asked a question, and uh, luckily I was able to do that. And you never know, they can ask an oral question, or they'll just give you a logic, and then they may ask you to explain it, or else they would definitely want you to write a code in front of them and run it and show the output to the interviewer you have. So it completely depends on the standards and the company's requirement.
Yeah, thank you very much for the inputs. And the next one, how can doctors be a part of data science? It's pretty new question.
It's an unexpected question, so I would definitely like to pass on to Ramesh to explain better about this.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Sonia. And see, guys, like I just want to make it clear for everyone, like who have been from different backgrounds. Okay, maybe some of them are from having a sales background, or some of them from core engineering background, maybe mechanical or electrical. Okay, and some of you might not have any other backgrounds relevant to that. Okay, the data science is not something which is purely an IT oriented one. Okay, it is it's a domain like where you can have your own core subject, or else, I mean, core profession to be involved in this particular domain itself. Okay, so like I have seen engineers who have been taking up data science, engineers who have been working as like what to say electrical or electronic engineering, or else like who have been part of like what to say mechanical engineering for years, actually, who have been going ahead with this. Okay, and when it comes to doctors as well, same goes with that actually. So wherever data comes, okay, so wherever there is data, actually, you can go ahead and try to do some kind of analysis and do some kind of predictions. I hope my voice is fine. Is it breaking still? Can you hear me? Someone
Yes,
says,
Ramesh, you are audible.
okay, thank you. Yeah, someone messaged me like, yeah, fine. So, as I told you, right? So, whenever there is data involved, actually, so like whenever it is possible for you to predict something, or else like to explain about something, okay. So, like if you have some huge chunks of data, okay, there might be a scenario, okay. So, like you just want to say something about it. Okay, so you can't go with line by, I mean, like observation by observation. Let us take there have been 10,000 patient observations, or else like 1 million patient observations actually. Okay, so you have huge chunks of data, isn't it? So, but like if you want to do some research over there, actually, so it might be taking a different path for the doctors to gather that data and like to analyze like what is the pattern of so and so disease, how it has been evolved actually. So these things have been pretty much I mean, important for the data. I mean, doctors actually, if they have been willing to go ahead with these kind of domains, actually, it is very, very helpful for them. Seriously, why? Because these days, like you have, I think you would have seen recent. I mean, in the recent times, Microsoft and other tech giants have been trying to predict uh, cancer cells. Okay, so before the tumor is going to be like what to say built into a cancer. Okay, they are trying to. I mean, they are trying to build up a model. Actually, they are trying to. They have been involved in that research actually to come up with a proper prediction in order to avoid cancer being evolved in a particular patient actually, so they can detect that particular thing even before it has been evolved. Okay, so there has been huge research happening in these areas actually. If you have been a doctor, that's not a problem actually. If you have the intention to study, so like for sure it will be very, very helpful for you. And there has been a lot of research happening, as you want to say. And there is one more interesting project which I have seen at the very first time. Okay, I mean, right? So for the I mean, 10 to 15 years back, India, there is a lot of fatality rate. I mean, what to say, like that whenever child gives birth to, whenever a woman gives birth to a child, actually, there was a scenario like very few, like almost like 10 to 15% of the woman and the child used to get died. Actually, I mean, they will be, killed in the hospital itself. Okay, so there was an interesting research which has been happening with the help of machine learning. Okay, so on data science, actually, people have been able to predict based on the fetus growth. Okay, so which means the child's growth in the month. I mean, during the pregnancy of the woman itself, they were able to predict the growth based on certain scenarios. Okay, so like their what is it? Yeah, infant mortality rate. Thank you. I'm bad at these medical words actually. Okay, so they were able to understand the patterns of the data. Okay, so the breathing patterns, the heart rate patterns, and everything, whatever the baby which has been the growing baby which has been happening. So they have been able to segregate the whole data into three stages. So based on those three stages, they were able to predict that. Okay, so if the data has been so and so, I mean, if the pattern has been so and so, if it has been happening in so and so way, like they will come to a conclusion that this child is going to be more likely not to survive when it is being delivered. Okay, so they can survive. I mean, they can take some precautionary steps, and they can easily save both doctor. I'm sorry, both the patient, not patient, like I mean both the pregnant woman as well as the child. Okay, so before the thing is going to happen, okay, they can predict it in between itself, and they can take some precaution in order to avoid that particular disaster to happen actually, so that they can save both of them. Okay, I think you might have seen, right? There will be a lot of child and as well as the pregnant woman used to die. Both, I mean, in the worst case scenario, both used to die, or else sometimes the child, either the child or else the woman used to die. Okay, so this has been like a very breathtaking, I mean, like a very outstanding reforms which have been coming in the particular domain, and as well as there have been certain companies which have been working in this like what I say. Like for this particular doctor scenario as well, like I mean, when you go for a CT scan or MRI scan, like you'll have a lot of information you have been gathering, isn't it? So that information they have been able to go with the machine learning algorithms, and they will be able to predict something. Okay, so this person is more likely to have so on like that. Okay, so this has been like this is actually happening. Okay, so you can explore more and more. Like if you want to know more, like you can drop a mail. We'll see. I mean, I'll share some projects relevant to that. You can go ahead. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Ramesh. It was really wonderful information that we got. Yeah. So Sonia, can we move on to the next question?
Yes.
Yeah. How to improve coding skills to pro level?
So I would say only the practice can take you to the pro level, and you just don't need to always practice the basic level questions. So when you try to explore things, you'll get to know you can take questions like a lot more questions and explore those. Try to take each bit of code and then try to make some new output from that. So only the practice can take you to the pro level. So whenever you have a question, or whenever you think of getting an interesting output, you can definitely write the code on yourself. So you have to be more practicing, so that you'll be definitely taken to the pro level.
Yeah, it means like a practice makes man perfect.
Exactly.
Yeah. So the next question: what is the future demand for a data scientist?
So I would say it's like unpredictable, but you can expect a good demand for a data scientist, because now itself we completely depend upon a lot of data, storing a lot of data and gathering a lot of data. So we need more data scientists or data analysts, because it's been like a big data coming in every day. Like each person is generating a lot data than the expectation, than the predictions which were done previously with by the people who has been already in the field. So it's completely unpredictable, I would say. Like it's in a positive way. Like you cannot maybe think of that peak level. Maybe it would reach that peak even. So that way it'll definitely have a good demand for a data scientist.
Yeah, very nice. The next question: roadmap to becoming a data scientist.
So I would say the first thing is you need to have that skill and the willingness to learn, as I said previously, and then you need to have the basic coding language. I would say Python is the most preferred, and all the industries are taking Python as it is easier, and uh, um, it is easier to understand and explain things better. So, and then you can move on to learn data science, machine learning, and data visualization. So everything is like interlinked. So once you start from the scratch, you definitely will become a data scientist. Until you have to keep learning. I wouldn't say there is an end point. It is continuous learning process that you never know what comes in in between, what skill you need to learn, keep learning. Even though once you step into the data science profession, you never know what new skill add-ons, and you have to keep on learning and add on that skill and try a new thing and bring out a good output from that. So that way I would say that it's a good process to learn and step into the profession you are willing.
Yeah, very nice. Thank you. Thank you very much for your suggestions. And
You're welcome.
I think like that's it. We are done with the registration questionnaire. So now
Okay.
we'll move on to the participant questionnaire. It's been like we are getting back-to-back questions, right? So
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
we can move on to the questions. So guys, you can post your questions now in the chat box.
Ma'am?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a question. I'm Naveen Kumar.
Naveen, you can post your question in the chat.
Yeah,
box.
okay, ma'am.
Yeah.
So I got a question from Naveen saying that what platform I have used to learn data science and how to learn Python programming. So it is like you have to start from the scratch to learn Python, like, if you're really willing to join GUI, however, the mentors are starting from the scratch. If at all, you have many articles, blogs written and to how to start, and you can definitely learn that skill once you start. When you understand a code, you have to be able to write it on your own itself, make some changes, make it look more attractive, reduce the space you have taken to write a code in the beginning. So if you take some time, you have to be able to edit the code and reduce it. So that is what makes you take you to a pro level.
Yeah. So we have one question. As a data science fresher, is it enough to know Python, ML, NLP, statistics, SQL, or we should also know deep learning, cloud computing, AI part? What does company? Just a minute. Yeah. I think what does company require, I guess.
Okay, so I would say we need to have a basic knowledge of all of this, and a good at least an intermediate or an pro level skill in coding. So the basic knowledge of all this will definitely take you to a good company and good placement, I would say. So the thing is, you need to understand the skill. You need to be able to explain, or you need to be able to write a code on your own. So that itself will make you gain good standard.
Yeah. So we have one more question. I am a 4-year experienced IT professional who is working in a mainframe technology. I do not have any coding experience at all. Since my project is based on production support, there is no scope of developing codes from scratch. So what would be your suggestion to switch from a non-coding background to data science?
I would say, like, if there is however, every profession needs data, or collecting data, or working with the data. So if even if you are completely willing to switch the profile itself, it is more easier to get into the data science field. So once you try to switch your career and then learn the skill and jump into this profession, then it will be more easier to gain good knowledge, and you have that learning, and so that will make you more professionally more active, and it is interesting actually than the previous thing you have been doing. So I would suggest you may switch the career, and you may just explore the things, and then you can decide what on will bring you to a good professional standard with respect to your present career you're in.
Yeah. We have a student who is asking, is it possible a mechanical student to become a data scientist? What kind of things want to learn to become a data scientist? Please tell me some tips.
Okay, so I would say you may start from the scratch. Like I said, you definitely need Python, data science, machine learning, a bit of a deep learning. And so these are, the main required skills. And, many companies are expecting the basic knowledge itself. You definitely need not be a pro itself, because, without being into the industry, no one would expect you to do a project on your own or put a project on your head. So that itself, you may actually start doing. So start from the scratch, and then you'll be able to gain good knowledge and step into the good career as a data scientist.
Yeah, we have one more question. I am a computer science engineer, but very interested in working for a company in medical field. Will I be able to do it as a data analyst or a data scientist or a data engineer?
Okay, I would say data analyst is a good one, because in medical field you may you can never imagine, I guess all the data and just the medical data itself is equally generated every day. So just imagine when you step into a hospital or any diagnostic center itself, there is a lot of data you are giving in and also generated. So you will if you are willing to step into the medical field as a data analyst or data scientist, like, you'll have to gather more or less information and explore and work on the data itself. So if you are willing to do so, you may definitely switch to that career, or you may choose that. So as I would like to add on, like, as Ramesh has previously said, so there is a data in every field. So if you are willing to do so in a medical field particularly, you may switch to that or choose that.
Yeah. So we have one participant who is asking, what additional knowledge would we require that would give us a edge during placement?
I wouldn't say it's an additional knowledge. The overall knowledge, or the knowledge throughout the course you gain itself. The thing is, the 5-month course or the 3-month course, whatever you learn, you need to hold it on in a one go, and shoot out your answers. When there is a person expecting you to give the answers, or you'll be able to give that standard and showcase your all the skill you have learned all these days. So I would say it isn't something that you can add it on to it. It's just that all the course you have learned, the 5-month course, you just need to hold it on and shoot out your answers to the interviewer.
Yeah. The next question is, what is the programming language known by you before your interview?
Like I said before the interview, like, as I took the course, I definitely know only Python, and I didn't have any other languages, or I didn't know any other languages previously. So I just began from the scratch and started learning Python, and continued it.
Yeah. One last question, Ma.
Yes.
How much time of your work involves in programming? It's basic a tip like most of the students are requesting for.
Is it depending upon while I was learning, or in the industrial standards?
Yeah.
Maybe I'll go through both. So if when it comes to the learning, however, the first skill itself we learn is Python. So however, practice a lot. And then once you understand and write something on your own, you'll definitely be able to understand the pre-built supervised and unsupervised models, all the machine learning concepts and all. So once we have that knowledge, so you just need to understand the pre-built models itself when you start learning the pre-built models in the machine learning or data science. So that is in the learning perspective. And when it comes to the professional or the industrial standard, I would say it completely depends upon the coding knowledge you have. Like you'll definitely need to write once you got trained well. Definitely the company will expect you to write a code on your own and explore, like make some additions to the existing ones. So it depends on the project or the requirement of the client you have, or the company is having. So it depends upon the project you are working on and the client's requirement.
Yeah.
So
Thank
that is
you.
what I would say.
Thank you very much, Sonia.